Okay, welcome back to the Inner Compass. I am Sasha, and I have to tell you, I have been looking forward to this episode more than almost anyone. Because today we talk about something that sounds so simple, it almost seems too easy. Something that requires no equipment, no special conditions, no hour long morning routine or silent retreat in the mountains. Something you can begin right now in this moment, wherever you are, whatever is happening around you. Are you ready? So here it is. Be here. That's it. That is the whole practice. Be here in this moment, fully, completely, unapologetically here. Now I know what you are thinking, Sasha. That cannot possibly be as simple as you are making it sound. If that was easy, everyone would be doing it. And I agree with you. You are absolutely right. It is that thing, and it is one of the hardest thing a human being can consistently do. Because here is the extraordinary, slightly unsettling truth. Most of us are almost never fully here. Either we are in yesterday's conversation or in the next week's worry. We are always rehearsing that what should we have said, or pre-living what we are afraid that might happen. We are everywhere except the one place our life is actually occurring. Right here, right now, this breath, this moment, this one unrepeatable point in time that will never exist again. Today, we talk about what it means to actually arrive and why, when you do, everything changes. Let me ask you something, and I want you to be really, really honest and present. How much of your day do you actually remember? I'm not talking about those big moments, not the meetings or the meals or the conversation that stood out. I mean the in between, the commute, the shower, the walk from one room to another, the cup of tea you made and drank without tasting. Gone, right? Just gone. Lived through but not experienced. Scientists who study the mind, and I find this genuinely astounding, estimate that we spend nearly half our waking hours thinking about something other than what we are actually doing. Nearly half. That is not a small number. That is almost half of your life happening somewhere other than where you really are. And here is what makes this even more interesting. That same research suggests that a wandering mind is, on an average, a less happy mind. Not because the thoughts are always negative, but because the act of being absent from your own life carries a cost that we rarely stop to measure. Now, think about the last time you were truly, completely present. Not for performing some presence, but actually being there completely. Maybe it was a moment with someone you love, Maybe it was in nature. Maybe it was the middle of something creative when time seemed to disappear and you may looked up and an hour had already passed. Think of it. How did that feel? That feeling, that aliveness, that sense of being exactly where we are supposed to be. That is what presence feels like. And it is available to you, not just in the extraordinary moments, but in the most ordinary ones too. The shower, the commute, the cup of tea, all of it. Every single ordinary moment is a doorway. You just have to choose to walk through it. Now, I want to clear something up because mindfulness has been through a whole lot of branding in recent years, and I think some of it has made it feel either inaccessible or a little nauseating. Mindfulness is not sitting cross legged on a cushion in a white room with no noise and a perfectly regulated nervous system. It is not an app. It is not a retreat. It is not something only calm, serene, spiritually evolved people have access to. Mindfulness, presence, is simply the practice of noticing what is actually happening right now in your body, in your environment, in your experience, without judgment, without the need to change it, without immediately trying to fix or flee or analyze it, just noticing. And here is why that one simple act is so radical. When you are present, I mean truly present, you cannot simultaneously be running the anxious future narrative or replaying the painful past you had. The mind can only fully inhabit one moment at a time, and the moment you choose is always this one. Presence is not the absence of thought. Thoughts will keep coming. That is what minds do, beautifully, relentlessly. Presence is the gentle, patient, infinitely repeatable act of noticing that you have drifted and then returning to it, coming back, not with frustration, not with self criticism, with the same quiet matter of factness you had used to notice that a window is open and you have to get up to close it. Oh, I have drifted. Here I am, coming back to myself. That's it. That's the whole practice. And you can do it 10,000 times in a single day. And each return counts as much as the last. There is no failing at presence. There is only drifting and returning, drifting and returning, drifting and coming back to yourself, to the home. So, what is your thing, situation that is keeping you out of the present? Is it that your mind is constantly in the future, already at the next meeting, the next season, the next version of your life that will finally feel right? I want to offer you something simple. The future you are racing toward will also require your presence when you arrive. There is no future moment that will feel more real or more satisfying than this one does. If you are not practicing arriving back to now, the future is not where life gets good. This moment is where it is happening. Come back to yourself. If you are someone whose mind gravitates toward the past, replaying the old conversations, revisiting the old decisions, living in a version of life that no longer exists, I want to say with great gentleness, the past is the finished job. I don't mean that it is forgotten. I don't think it is unimportant, but it is all finished. And the replaying is not understanding, it is just being there again when you could be in this moment instead. Every time you notice you have gone back, you can choose consciously to return here, now, in this breath. If you know, honestly know, that your phone is the primary thing keeping you out of your own life, you are not alone. You are not weak. The phone is engineered by some of the most sophisticated minds on earth to keep you there, to grab your attention. You are not fighting a bad habit. You actually are fighting $1 billion attention economy. So give yourself credit for noticing and try this. For the duration of this episode, the phone is away, not face down, away, and notice what is here in the room that you're sitting, in your body, in this moment, when the phone is not with you, between you and this moment. If you feel too overwhelmed to land, if the volume of everything is so high that presence feels impossible, like asking someone to meditate in the middle of a fire alarm, start with the body, not the mind. Before you try to be present with your thoughts or your life, just be present with your feet. Feel them on the floor, the weight of your body in the seat, the simple, undeniable, always available fact of your physical presence in this room. That is enough. That is where presence begins when everything else is too much. If you're feeling emotionally flat or numb, if life has felt low color for a while, and the idea of being present feels like trying to feel something you can have no longer access to, I just want to say that flatness, that dullness is itself the information. It is often what happens when we have been absent from our own inner life for long enough. Presence, when you have been numb, does not arrive as a flood. It arrives like a flicker, a small, quiet, almost imperceptible moment of, oh, that, I remember that feeling. Start there with that flicker. If you have been tried trying to be mindful before and it did not work, you sat down on a cushion and your mind raced and you felt like you were failing at something everyone else seems to find easy, I want to tell you something important. That experience is mindfulness. The racing mind, the restlessness, The sense of doing it wrong, that is not failure. That is exactly what the practice looks like from the inside. There is no such thing as a quiet mind. There is only noticing the noise and choosing again and again to come back. You were not doing it wrong, but you were doing it, and that is a point of appreciation. So, here is the reframe that I am going to offer you today. I want you to really sit with this one because I think it is going to change how you think about your entire life. Your life is not the sum of your big moments. It is not the holidays, the milestones, the achievements, the photographs you took to remember something by. Your life is the sum of your ordinary moments, the thousand small, unremarkable, easily overlooked instances that make up the texture of your actual days. The morning light through a window, the warmth of a cup between your hands, the sound of someone you love laughing in the next room, the feeling of your feet on solid ground. These moments are your life. And most of us are sleepwalking straight through them on the way to somewhere we think matters more. But here is the extraordinary. The moment you actually arrive in an ordinary moment, truly alive, with your full attention and no agenda, it stops being ordinary. It becomes enough, complete, whole. Presence is the alchemy that transforms the unremarkable into the remarkable, not by changing the moment, but by finally showing up for it. And when you practice this, when you begin, even imperfectly, to inhabit your moments rather than pass through them, something profound happens to your relationship with your own life. You stop feeling like life is happening to you and you start feeling like you are actually living it. The anxiousness, the anxiety loosens its grip because anxiousness lives in the future and you are here in this present moment. The grief softens because grief lives in the past, but you have chosen to be here. The constant background noise of not enough quiets because you are here, and here is enough. This moment, right now, is the only place your life is actually happening. It is asking you gently, persistently, endlessly to show up for it. So here is where it genuinely exciting because unlike almost anything else we talk about on this show, presence is immediately available right now in the next 60 seconds. I am sharing with you 5 tools, not 5 things to add to your to do list, but 5 doorways into your own life that you can walk through at any moment, in any circumstance, starting today. And I promise you, by the time this episode ends, you are genuinely going to feel different than you did when it started. Not because I have changed anything about your circumstances, but because you are going to be just a little more here. So these practices will help you instantly, and find them, think them as a doorways that will help you walk towards yourself into your own life. Now, this practice, the first one, I have named it in a way that the moment you think or do it, it will immediately affect you. And the name is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 arrival. This is your emergency presence practice. The one for when you are almost lost in your head and need to land back in your body immediately. Simple thing, name out loud or silently 5 things you can see, 4 things that you can physically feel, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. That's it. By the time you reach 1, you are here. Not because you willed yourselves to be, but because your senses dragged you back. The senses are the fastest route to the present moment. They exist only now. They have no past, no future, and when you engage them deliberately, you cannot simultaneously be somewhere else. Use it in anxiety spirals, in the middle of difficult feelings, on the commute when the worry starts running, and anytime you notice you have left, use this to come back. 5 things you can see. Start right now. Look up and actually name them. The color of the wall, the shape of the shadow, the thing you have walked past 100 times without seeing. That's the practice. That's the presence. It's that immediate. I told you I'm going to share the instant practices which you could do very easily. The next one is single task for 10 minutes. This is the second practice and very powerful. You have to choose one thing, do only that thing for 10 uninterrupted, undivided, phone face down minutes. Not 10 minutes of multitasking with the presence of as a backdrop. 10 minutes where that one thing has your complete, unhurried, genuinely entrusted attention. Eat a meal without your phone or your laptop. Have a conversation without planning your response. Wash the dishes and actually feel the warmth of the water. Walk outside and leave the headphones out. This feels radical because it is radical. We live in a culture designed to fragment your attention at every possible moment. Single tasking is an act of quiet, powerful resistance and an act of respect for the life you're actually living. Your attention is the most valuable thing you possess. Whatever you give it to fully, completely, because becomes vivid and real. Whatever you give it to partially remains dim. 10 minutes, one thing, all of you, not half of you scrolling and half of you here. And notice how different that feels. Notice how much more alive the ordinary becomes when you stop splitting yourself between it and somewhere else. The next practice, I have named it the third practice as the mindful pause. It can be used in between the moments or if you're transitioning. Most of us race from one thing to the next without a breath between them, meeting to meeting, task to task, conversation to conversation, carrying the energy of the last thing straight into the next part. The mindfulness pause is simple. Before you move from one thing to the next, stop. Stop for 3 breaths. 3 full conscious breaths. Feel them before you open up the next app, before you walk into the next room, before you answer the next question, before you begin the next task. Those 3 breaths do two things simultaneously. They close the last moment fully, completely, and they open the next one fresh. You arrive in each new moment as yourself rather than as the accumulated residue of everything that came before. And that actually gives you the quality of arrival, showing up clean to each new moment, is what it feels like to actually live consciously. 3 breaths between everything. It costs you less than 30 seconds. And it means that whatever comes next gets all of you, not the leftover of you. That is the presence as a form of love for yourself and for whatever you are moving towards. The next one, the fourth practice, the presence journal. 1 line a day. It can become a joyful evening ritual. So every evening, you just have to write 1 line. I'm not saying writing of a diary entry or a paragraph, not a gratitude list with 12 items. I just want you to write 1 line that answers this question. What moment from today do I want to remember the most? Not the best moment, not the most productive moment, the moment that felt most alive, most real, most present. It might be something tiny, a conversation that made you laugh, the way the evening light came through your window, the feeling of finishing something you had been putting off, the sound of rain. Writing this 1 line does something extraordinary. It trains your attention over time to look for these moments while they are still happening. Because the mind finds what is looking for, and a mind that is trained to notice aliveness begins to feel aliveness everywhere. 1 line every night and watch what happens to your life within a month. 1 line tonight. What moment from today do you want to remember the most? Not the achievement, not the output, the moment you were most present. You just need to make a note of it, and then tomorrow, live a day worth writing about. The last practice, I have named it as the presence gift. Be fully here for one person. I feel this is like a present you will give to yourself, and it becomes the most impactful one. Choose one person today, someone you love, someone who matters, and for the duration of your next interaction with them, give them the rarest gift available in modern world. Your complete, undivided, phone away, genuinely interested presence. No half listening while thinking about something else. No eye contact that is technically there but mentally elsewhere. No waiting for your turn to speak while they are still talking. Actually hear them, actually see them. Let what they say land rather than skimming the surface and moving on. You will notice something almost immediately, they will feel it. People know at a felt level when they have someone's real attention versus their performed attention. And when they feel genuinely seen, something opens, something relaxes, something in the relationship deepens in a way that no amount of time together without presence can achieve. Being fully present is the most loving thing you can offer another human being. And it costs nothing except the willingness to be here. One person, your full presence. The phone is away, it is not facing down, but it is kept away. And just be with them fully. Notice what it does to the conversation. Notice what it does to them. Notice what it does to you. That right there is what connection actually feels like. So these are little things that will help you to bring completely there. So let's, from this moment, become completely present so that we are enjoying those little moments. I want to leave you with something today, not a task, not a practice, just an image. Imagine that every moment of your life is a gift wrapped and waiting. And every time you are fully present, every time you actually arrive in the moment you are in, you open it. And every time you're somewhere else in the future, in the past, in the phone, in the worry, the gift sits there unopened, not gone, not taken away, just waiting for you to acknowledge and open it patiently, quietly, waiting for you to come back. Your life is full of unopened gifts, and presence is the only key that opens them. So, here is my invitation to you, not for tomorrow, not when things settle down, not after the next episode, right now, after I complete and put this episode to an end, before you scroll your screen, open the Instagram, before you check your messages, before you move on to the next thing, take 60 seconds, just 60 seconds. Put your phone down, look up, feel your feet on the floor. Take one full breath and actually feel it. And notice, just notice what it brings in that moment. What is there in this moment, in this room, in this life? That is presence, and that in next 60 seconds is everything. Together we heal, together we grow, together we rise. Okay, before I let you go, next week we have been building presence, we have been learning to arrive, and now the most amazing question of the series: are you actually living the life you want to be living? Not the life you ended up in. not the life that happened by default while you were looking the other way, the one that actually you want. Episode 14 is about waking up to your own life, which asks you to look at your life clearly and ask, is this it? Is this what I choose? And if not, what now? It might be the most important episode of the entire series. I'll see you there. Don't miss it. I'll see you in the next one. And if you like these episodes, please share them, leave your comments. I read each one of them, and that means to me a lot. Thank you. See you in the next one. Have a good time.